Hey everybody, welcome into We Called It. Got a great show for you with these guys this week. Now, we're going to start off this week. Ken and I, unfortunately, have to apologize because we're not doing so hot so far, but, I want you to understand, you listened to us last year, you knew through week 4 it was a pass. So Ken and I have promised to actually win every pick that we are putting in there this week. Which, by the way, forces Ken to be better than Phil this week, who is actually winning because they have opposite picks, multiple games. So if you're following all the way till now, 1, Ken and I are not losing this week. 2, Phil is losing this week. And 3, you're going to win a lot of money this week by picking our picks. There it is. I just want to let you know that right off the bat.
As always, unknown. Connor didn't say how well I did last week. You know,
we don't care.
At 4-2-1,
the only live in the present. Live in the present.
The only games I got wrong last week, I had the same picks as you, both of you. Listen, so thanks for that.
Also, I just wanted to let everyone know, if you had to guess, oh man, here we go. Really cool finance guy, really smart doctor, or really nerdy guy with numbers. Who would you guess might be good with picking bets? Joke's on you. It's actually the first 2 because Phil's going to lose a lot. So, anyways, as always, I'm with Dr. Kenneth Call. How are you?
Connor, these intros are getting better and better every week. I can't even begin to describe it. Wow. Keep it up, man.
Yeah, Phil, we will now make you the last person introduced every week. So, anyways, also I'm here with
best record is why you make me last.
anyways, Phil, go ahead with your introduction.
Of myself?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, tell us how great you are and how well you've been doing.
I was gonna say all that's been happening is I believe in Joe Burrow, and it's been paying off. Last 2 weeks, he's been making me money, and spoiler alert, there's gonna be a third pick on him.
All right, fine, whatever. So if you guys are wondering, Phil's betting the Bengals every week. I'm a Bengals fan, and I don't even bet the Bengals every week. So anyways, yeah. Fun fact for you guys today. All right, so actually we're going to introduce ourselves this week. We're going to start with a fantasy topic here. Ken got a trade this week. Ken, tell us what the proposition was and tell us what you did and tell us why.
All right, well, I ran it by these guys because I really wanted Connor's opinion. Phil's also in the group chat. But I had to, so in a 10-team PPR league, I was giving up Joe Mixon, who's obviously real good run back to have, and then also DJ Moore, who I hate so much. I got JaMarr Chase, and some of these Bengals people might know who that guy is, as well as both 49ers guys, Eli Mitchell and Jeff Wilson. So important to know, there's an IR spot, so Eli Mitchell will be sitting there for a few weeks here. But, so what do you guys think of it?
Phil, we'll let you go first before I destroy you.
I told Ken to do this trade 2 hours before Connor did, and then he's like, "Oh, Connor, come help me. Phil didn't give me good advice." And now, Connor, you tell him what to do, huh?
Listen, the reality is here, for everybody listening, for our fantasy soundbite of the week, the reality is this is one of the lowest scoring running back ones ever, by the way, which is Saquon Barkley, since 1997. It was Curtis Martin in 1997 for the Jets. So, what does that tell you? That tells you some of the things that we actually talked about on our previous fantasy podcasts, which was this league is changing. People are drafting wide receivers much earlier than they have in the past, for good reason. Reality is the league is changing. It is now more important to have studs like a JaMarr Chase, like a Justin Jefferson, like a Cooper Kupp. These guys are now changing to where run plays that have been 2 yards in a cloud of dust are now 5-yard stick routes, while Cooper Kupp gets 20 targets a game. Why Chase is going to take it off the top, and he's going to be coupled with T. Higgins, and they're just going to be running the ball. Their new run plays are quick outs to these guys. Their new run plays are right over the middle, 5-yard stick routes with a tight end. They're not passing the ball anymore. By the way, to go back to Ken's point, I absolutely said smash this trade. Joe Mixon is going to be a touchdown-dependent RB2 potentially for the rest of the year with a crappy offensive line. And by the way, the Bengals will probably play from behind for about 50% of their games. They're going to be passing the ball like crazy. T. Higgins, Chase all the way up. Oh, and by the way, he gets the rest of this sort of anamorphic type of backfield that is the San Francisco. Yes, I get the San Francisco backfield is kind of an amoeba. It kind of moves around here. But he gets both of them. He gets everyone. So he gets whoever comes back and takes over the backfield, he gets both of them. All in, smash play. We're going to give you, by the way, Ken and I are going to give you great picks for the rest of this week. So if you are listening so far, I'm telling you right now, you just got a fantastic fantasy play and fantasy tidbit, and Ken's going to give you even more. More wins and winning money this week.
That's it, for sure. Now, just one other thing on fantasy. Simple. Agree with everything Connor said, but JaMarr Chase, he's got a good quarterback. He's got a team that is giving up points right now. So you buy studs in good situations. If they're not doing good, buy low. Okay? Trust them, trust talent, trust the position they're in. Go get these guys. We're only 4 weeks into the season. A lot of football left to play.
Also, I want you to be very clear. Ken and I were the first on the T. Higgins train. I just want you to know that. T. Higgins, elite wide receiver. Phil told us that he was not elite. By the way.
When did this become an anti-Phil show? Like, I have the best pick hits.
When
Connor...
you tried to show us up on our own show, we started this. We own Phil Corp. Get off the show.
I'm hurt. You cut me deep, Shrek. You cut me real deep.
All right, let's get into some picks,
No,
Phil.
I want to do fantasy football. I want my turn for fantasy football.
Oh, hey, here's an interesting fantasy football tidbit. There's only one 0-4 team in my 12-team league. Guess who owns that team?
I bet it's Phil. I bet it's
the guy
Phil.
with the guy with the headphones.
Don't even.
So, by the way, if you guys are wondering, take all of our picks, 1, this week, because we're going to be perfect, and 2, don't take any fantasy advice from Phil Call. That's it. Take nothing else from this podcast. Take those 2.
I'm 0-4, and I've had like a top 2 score in 2 of the weeks, and I lose to the highest score. I've had 1 bad week. That's it.
You can mention who that score was last week. It's okay. He won't mind.
Oh, so one more. Okay, so I messaged Ken Sunday. I have Travis Kelce on the field Sunday Night Football. He has Deebo Samuel, and it was like a dead even game, I think. No, Ken was up by 5.
It's not important. Just let
it is.
It's okay.
Ken messaged me. He's like, dude, you're gonna win because Kelce has like 90 yards and a touchdown. I go, Ken, he needed 100 yards and 2 touchdowns to beat you. And of course, Deebo Samuel rips off his 65 or 57-yard touchdown, and by the second quarter, I lost. It was awful.
Okay. I needed 22 points. I needed 22 points by the San Francisco defense, and they got me 22. Actually, I needed 12, and they got me 22. That is also me watching and texting you guys and telling you that I had to change my sheets and change my drawers. All right? It was awesome.
Anyways, my fantasy tidbit for the week.
All right.
Jameson Williams. Go get him in your IR spot if you currently have it available. He's going to be back after week 6, I think, is the week after their bye. So it'd be week 7. But we love Detroit here. They have looked terrible defensively and good offensively. Well, they can put up points. I don't know if they can actually win games with it, but they can score. Jameson Williams, I think, is going to come out and be their outside receiver that they've been dying for. And maybe not be better than Amon-Ra St. Brown, but you're going to get like a wide receiver 3 flex for who is someone who's probably on the waivers right now.
By the way, they are one of the, if not the only team in history to have like a top 3 most points scored through 4 games and a top 3 most points given up in the history of the NFL. They're one of the only teams, if not the only team, to have given up as many points as they have and scored as many points as they have.
So if I was you, Connor, and I saw they were underdogs this week, and you knew they were going to score, would you be taking them?
I would. Thank you for that segue, Phil. I mean, Ken. Thank you, Ken. Thank you for Ken for reminding Phil that he should not introduce me or also give me a good segue.
Don't look at me.
Starting off with my smash pick of the week, it's going to be Detroit +3. I'm thinking this line moves, by the way. I think this is actually going to go more closer to an even bet. Why? Because we just talked about it. Number one, Detroit can't play defense. They don't know how. They've got a decent pass rush, I guess, with Aiden Hutchinson, their number one overall pick. Fine. Cool. I'm not really interested in that. I'm caring about the amount of points that they give up. However, if there is a get-right game, it would be against an inept offense with a rookie starting quarterback. And that's going to be Bailey Zappi. Mac Jones is not going to play this week. Yes, Zappi looked decent in backup role last week. However, there is a very, 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 very slight chance that he plays. It's almost for sure that he's going to be out. It's doubtful at best. I am going to take the team that can throw up as many points as with anybody. They can put up as many points as anybody in this league. And I think that they actually are going to be able to slow down New England's offense. By the way, you still don't know who's calling the offense at New England. It might be Matt Patricia. It might be another offensive guy. It might be Bill Belichick telling Matt Patricia what to do. That's not a great thing for a rookie quarterback to have. You don't want to have multiple people in your ear. You want to have one source of truth. I think this is a crazy easy play. And by the way, Detroit has been in every single game that they played in this year. And somehow they're 1-3. They shouldn't be. If they can do anything on defense, this is a smash play. Detroit +3. So, if you've already taken that, you're going to be 1-0. Phil is actually taking New England -3 in this.
I am not.
He's
I am
lying.
Detroit.
Whatever he says, he's not a Detroit homer. This is now Everyone Hates Phil show.
1 second.
I'll be honest.
Do I have the most bets on
didn't take
Detroit this year for the whole podcast?
I actually didn't bet Detroit this week only because I thought only Connor was allowed to on the show.
Yeah.
You hear him talk about it? He's good at it.
Love Detroit.
Right.
Phil, you have not bet. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever you say, it doesn't matter. We don't care. Detroit +3. Smash it.
Can I contribute to what you said or add on to it at all?
Do whatever you want.
I was going to say, against a young rookie quarterback in an offense that can't throw the ball, having going against a team that can score points is bad. Like the Packers didn't put up points, and it just let New England run the ball at them 1,000,000 times. So Bailey Zappi didn't have to do much. Anyways, Detroit's actually going to be trying to score. And New England can't cover the pass, so they're the 8th worst pass coverage unit according to PFF. So, high on Detroit this week. They're going to get their second win. 4th against the spread.
It will count towards Connor and not towards Phil. Continue, sir.
Can you go with your favorite pick? I don't know why I'm here.
You don't need it.
All right. So, my favorite pick really isn't even my favorite pick anymore because Phil also picked it. And it has his name in it, but it is the Philadelphia Eagles over the Arizona Cardinals.
Ooh,
now,
that was nice.
First off,
don't encourage him.
Philadelphia, they've showed that that offense is dynamic. They in that torrential downpour that was that Jacksonville game where they were down. They started the game off down 14-0 right away, and it showed it just didn't matter. I just like everything they can do on offense between, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, getting the weapons around Jalen Hurts. Goddard, I mean, he's been a nice safety valve for Hurts if Hurts is ever not running, because that's also a safety valve. But also, Miles Sanders also like, guys, I'm pretty good. More importantly, I just do not like this Arizona team. They were up was it like 15-10 or something like that going into the fourth quarter last week, where of course they beat the Commanders, but man,
Panthers.
Oh, the Panthers. I'm sorry.
Both terrible.
5 points is not enough for Arizona. They're playing a real defense with Philadelphia. I think game definitely has a good chance to go over as well, but really like Philly this week.
Yeah, Phillies just looked like the best team and owned both sides of the line of scrimmage. And when you have, they have 8 good pass rushers. So Kyler Murray is not going to just break out the pocket and run wherever he wants because they're going to, all win against whoever they're a matchup against and keep him in the pocket. So I also have Philly. I'm apparently piggybacking off your guys' favorite picks of the week.
I would say, though, I don't think anybody ever – I think this is a best-case scenario for Philly. I think everyone was like, hey, we don't know about Hurts. The team is ready to play for a Super Bowl right now if they can get that position right. And they bet big on Hurts because they knew he could run. The question was, could he develop as a passer? And he's shown that he can. And now, all bets are off, Super Bowl or bust. So this was a best-case scenario for them. He could always run. Always.
Well, so 2 things. One, Connor, forgot to give you tip of the cap on Miles Sanders last year. You hyped him up big time. I don't know if you remember that. And then he started to be like, yeah, I'm good at football after week 4. And then that's when they flipped their offense from pass first to run first. And then 2, Ken, you had A.J. Brown as an elite wide receiver in the offseason. And we were like, is he going to play the full year? But I think it's kind of hard to argue with what A.J. Brown has done for the Philadelphia offense and just how he's made life so much easier for literally everyone else. Devonta Smith is now the 2. Quez Watkins is walking down the field wide open, and the middle of the field's open for Goddard. So A.J. Brown actually pulling in the gravity, still being productive, has made life for that whole Eagles offense. There's nothing about their team I don't like. They have 2 good corners even.
Connor, you hear him trying to be nice to both of us here?
Yeah, whatever.
Wow. Trying too hard out there.
I'm trying to hype our show and give you guys credit, being like, hey, we've called all these things to begin with. And you guys are all like, no, Phil, stop it.
Good takes, guys. You guys have credible takes. I don't have very good ones, but you guys keep carrying the show. Thanks.
Your credible takes, man. You guys have 15 total picks correct on the year. I have 12.
Hey, whoa, easy.
I have 12.
Ooh.
Well, there's a long way to go, Phil. Long way to go.
Phil, we will allow you to give us your smash of the week.
Miami. You're talking about it. Tua is a solid quarterback. I don't think he's very good, and I think he's in a really good scheme, and he's looked great to start the season. However, I think
Teddy, that's what you mean, right?
Because no. My point is, Teddy's coming in to replace him, and I think he can do 85 to 90% of what Tua's done. I don't think he could do the comeback against Baltimore, but he doesn't need to because they're playing the Jets. They're only 3.5-point favorites against the Jets. The Jets look awful. Against the Steelers, they look terrible, and I think the Steelers a bottom 5 team. I don't know.
They beat the Steelers, though.
They did, technically. Mitch Trubisky got benched with a lead in that game. That's the team that they beat. So, I'm still low on Zach Wilson. I think their offense will be solid for fantasy purposes because it's got a lot of weapons and it's looked a lot better than I thought it would. But I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't think the Jets have a good defense. And Miami plays a pressure style on defense where they just send the house. They're gonna bring Payne and a young quarterback who missed time and is not really probably on a perfect connection with his receivers. It's not gonna look great in my opinion. So Miami minus 3.5. I think they are, probably a top 4 or 5 team in the AFC, and the Jets are still the bottom of the barrel over there. So, this spread just seems way too low to me.
So Ken, since you have this one, and we know you had it first, go ahead.
So no, if Philly wasn't my pick of the week, this one certainly would have been. So thanks, Phil, for stealing it again. No, completely agree with everything. I think that Miami team looks played a great game against Buffalo 2 weeks ago. They did real good till all that shocking stuff with Tua last week on Thursday night. But they're coming off of playing 2 really, top 5 offenses in the AFC, and then they're gonna go and see what Zach Wilson can do. Game 2 back. I think defense will be just fine. I think Teddy's gonna do exactly the same thing. He's gonna get by. He's gonna do easy, safe passes and let the playmakers do the thing after the catch. And I think, 3, definitely not enough. Yeah, Phil, I agree.
Plus, they have 10 days off. I don't get it.
I know I was looking into that, but some stats, I know they don't matter, but showed that, defenses really didn't do that much better with all that rest. Now, with that being said, it helps the injuries, certainly. Not Tua's, but other ones.
All right. Let's go on. Let's see. Connor, I've heard you changed your tone on Mr. Geno Smith recently.
Listen, I heard Geno Smith tell off a reporter today, so I was like, this is totally the take. This is the smash bet. Basically, he was pretty much telling this reporter, have you ever seen me throw a football before? His reporter was like, hey, did you expect to be what you're doing right now at the beginning of the year? And he was like, have you seen me throwing a football? And I was like, wow, this guy's really, really, really confident. And I was like, you know who he's playing this week? He's playing New Orleans against Marshawn Lattimore. Fine. But Marshawn Lattimore just got torched last week by Justin Jefferson. I think DK and Lockett are going to do pretty well against the New Orleans Saints this week. This is partially against the New Orleans Saints because I was upset that I thought that they should have beat the brakes off of the Kirk Cousins-led Minnesota Vikings. So part of this take is against New Orleans and Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston, either one, not 100% sure. I think most of this has to do with Alvin Kamara coming back, who has also been a bust. I think some of this actually is not buying into what Seattle has done so far. I think this comes down to a game where Pete Carroll is going to potentially slow this one down and try and play keep away from a full-strength New Orleans Saints team. He's done. They passed the ball in I think 60% of their plays, which is like totally different than what he's done in the past. But Geno has shown that he can take this offense and do it well. I think that New Orleans is questionable. I think they are not the defense that they've had in the past. And I think that they actually are going to be able to hang with them. Also, 5.5 to me is a big spread. New Orleans has shown me nothing that they're an actual good football team, really, that well much this year. And I don't think it's going to take one. I think it's going to take 1 or 2 games if they're going to get right and be a fully healthy, fully good Saints team. So I'm picking Seattle.
Connor, quick question. I believe Andy Dalton's supposed to start. So keep saying they're at full strength, but does it Andy Dalton versus Jameson there? Does that matter to you? I mean, Andy Dalton looked pretty good last week.
He looked pretty good, but he looked okay. I mean, he looked all right. So I think he had like 248 and like a touchdown. He looked fine.
He's a plus if you knew Jameis was going to have a bad game. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you know Jameis, it's that 3 interception game you get every other week from Jameis, then he's better.
He's serviceable. Michael Thomas is most likely out again, I think. So it's going to be Chris Olave, who's looked really good, potentially offensive rookie of the year. They get Kamara back, fine, but I do not believe that they are this explosive offense without Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, and Kamara at full strength. I just don't see it. You got 2 guys to worry about, and one of them's a rookie. So I don't think that they can put up as many points as people expect them to.
All right, we're going to head over to London for the next game. I just want to get this out the way. I had to write an article on it. So it's Giants versus Green Bay. The line is like 8.5 places. So I'm taking the Giants. After what we saw from New England versus the Packers, I am just so low on Green Bay. And I think it's only getting worse because Romeo Doubs dropped that touchdown. And you see Aaron Rodgers is still pissed at Christian Watson. He's not throwing him the ball. So what do you think Romeo Doubs is going to do? Get any more targets? I think this offense is just like completely destroyed by Aaron Rodgers' lack of like faith in his receivers. And it's 8 points. The Packers couldn't stop the run. Saquon Barkley has looked, like Saquon Barkley rookie year. So the Giants offense is a mess, but at least they have that going for them. And Wink Martindale has actually been a huge upgrade for the Giants defense. Made it kind of respectable to watch. So I'm in on the Giants. This is just such a disappointing 9:30 a.m. game, though, because like I on Sunday I like to wake up and start watching, but I don't want to watch that.
I would say, Phil, name the starting wide receivers for the Giants this week.
Richie James.
Okay.
And the ex-quarterback who just replaced Kenny Galladay. Is it Stills?
Ken, what are you doing? Tell him.
I think I saw a depth chart, and Darius Slayton and Kenny Galladay were listed like 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, and I was like, oh man. Remember when we looked at this roster and was like, man, that could be a good receiving core. And then Kenny Galladay just went full, I'm not coming to work today. And I don't know what happened to Slayton. Shepard fell apart. Kadarius Toney isn't a thing.
You haven't even said Wendell Robinson and Kadarius Toney, the two most dynamic guys who don't play. They're mainly injured, but even when Kadarius Toney isn't injured, he's not playing. I don't get it. But just one point there, that Romeo Doubs, he had 2 or 3 catches, just like small dink and dunk in the overtime when they did play after that huge drop. Having Romeo Doubs in a few fantasy leagues, I was very worried that that'll be it for him. I almost dropped him on the spot, but I'm really hoping Aaron Rodgers doesn't hold that grudge, because we know he doesn't do that. He's not that type of guy.
Christian Watson had a 14-yard touchdown too, but that was a run.
Run.
Yeah, I was gonna say those quick hits, the screens Connor was talking about, that is the new age offense or the new age run game. I want to see Rodgers throw the ball to him more than 15 yards down the field, and then I'll believe that he still trusts him. All right.
Easy now. One thing at a time.
All right. Ken, we haven't talked about one of your games in a while, so let's go back to you.
We've talked about half of my games so far.
That's what I realized.
You should go to a different game.
No, go to the Rams. Sorry, spoilers for anyone.
All right, guys. So this is where it gets scary, Phil. His win streak's definitely coming up to the crossroads here, because he has gotten too cocky with some of these picks. And I know I got laughed at by Phil last week for talking about Dallas's defense that not only showed up, but had carried the entire team on their back. Also, Carson Wentz was helping them carry it. But with that being said, I'm picking the Rams, -5 against Dallas. And this has a lot to do with, number one, the Rams got embarrassed on primetime last week. And they always do against Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan has their number in the regular season. It's been a rough go for him. But I think that Kyle Shanahan Sean McVay bounces back after that rough loss. But most importantly, I am done with. So Cooper Rush, they need a game where he stinks so that when Dak comes back, there's no question about it. And it's going to be here. Welcome, meet Jalen Ramsey, meet Aaron Donald. I do not think that this is where this offense gets shown where it belongs. I just can't keep up with this Rams defense. It's going to show. It's going to be a boring game to watch, but the Rams are winning by 6.
All right.
Phil.
My counterpoint. The Rams offense, besides Cooper Kupp, looks like the worst in the NFL. There has been absolutely nothing. Matthew Stafford's throwing picks. It's what he does, but usually he makes up for it with big time throws. Big plays down the field. Those aren't coming. Offensive line can't hold up long enough. Allen Robinson, I'm sorry. We were excited about him. I was very excited about him on the Rams. And that has not worked out at all. He has not gotten back to 2 years ago Allen Robinson, who had 1,200 yards. He doesn't look like he's separating well. I don't know what's up with him. And then their running game, just ask any fantasy owners. They get 18 carries for like 35 yards. I'm just all out on this offense. Plus, it goes up against Micah Parsons. It's one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL right now. and Micah Parsons and the Dallas defensive front's coming to keep hunting Matt Stafford, who does make mistakes and will throw interceptions.
Sorry, what are you saying about the Dallas pass rush here?
It has one elite pass rusher. Last week, you said it had two.
I did not. No. I said the pass rush was elite. Do not put words in my mouth.
Okay.
Do not.
We'll rewind.
Do not.
We are going to rewind and watch the tape because it is all over YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
I mentioned another person on the team that deserved mentioning.
No.
I certainly did not. I did not say they were elite.
So as someone who actually listens to our show, just to see how it is, you said the words you said were Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are elite. And then after that,
lead an elite pass rush.
No. You said they are elite, and then when I freaked out, you were like, no. I was saying their pass rush is elite. You backed it up immediately.
That's what I meant. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember this.
Anyways, that's my take. I don't care about the Dallas offense. Yes, Aaron Donald's awesome. Yes, Jalen Ramsey's awesome. But Dallas is gonna happily sit back and lose this game 17-13, and then I'll be cashing in 5.5.
How can you win if you score 0 points, Phil?
You don't, because the line's 5.5.
I'm talking about the football game.
Don't care about the football game. Care about my bank account. All right, Connor, let's swing it back to you. They cut us deep. Right. They cut us deep last week. My hometown Browns. We all had them. We were all right there watching them. And on their final 4th down drive, get sacked and held out of field goal range. You're against them.
I'm not gonna lie. This is partially in response to that. This is partially in response to Cleveland sucking and being Cleveland again. This, in my opinion, is similar to a pick'em because it's -3, I think, or -2.5 for the Chargers. I mean, they're valuing I wouldn't call them floundering offense of the Chargers. I wouldn't even call it that. Their defense and their offense have some kinks to work out at the Chargers. But, in my opinion, I think that they have more firepower to cover 2.5 points on the Cleveland Browns because, like you said, Cleveland's going to find a way to just lose this game. And I think if they lose, they're going to be losing by a field goal or more. So I think this is flat out an indictment on Cleveland. I think this is somewhat of a get-right game for the Chargers. I wouldn't even call it get-right game. It's more or less just to kind of tighten things up. I'm also a Herbert fanboy. I like Herbert. I like Eckler. They kind of got a little bit right last week when they played the Texans. Were able to put up some major points. I think they're kind of coming around here. They play in a tough division. Cleveland, man, enjoy. I'm sorry, you guys. I know you guys are Browns fans, but I'm back off the Cleveland train. I was on it for a week and they ruined it.
I made a strong point to not bet Cleveland, and then I don't know what happened last week. I blacked out. Whatever happened, but seeing that line, first thinking I'm like, oh, we're playing the Chargers. This line's going to be 6, 7, something like that. No, wow, couldn't believe it was 3 or less than 3. But the Chargers were up 27-7 at halftime last week. Now I know they're playing Houston. They don't have the best defense, but I mean, they're clearly, they're getting things right. They are missing their left tackle. That's going to be really hard against that Browns pass rush. That's the only nice thing I can say about the Browns right now. Oh my God,
Browns pass rush, the man recovering from a car accident, and Jadeveon Clowney, who doesn't get on a field ever. The Browns are hurting me. Good. I'm still very, but yes,
still very good.
Other players too,
I'm talking about the pass rush in general, the whole collective, not just individuals, Phil.
The elite pass rush.
I don't want to go there because, yes, the Browns do have an elite pass rush. Oh, my God. It's not even an argument.
All right.
Jesus. Okay. Move on before Phil says something stupid.
All right.
He sucks.
Let's head over to San Fran versus Carolina. And Connor and I both taking this game. Connor, you just went, so I'm going to go first on this one.
Go ahead. Light him up.
It's very easy. San Fran has one of the best defenses in the NFL. Maybe the best. And the Panthers have Baker Mayfield. Could there be a recipe for a bigger disaster? There has been nothing impressive about the Panthers offense. There was I made fun of them 2 weeks ago for needing a pick six to win. And then last week they got another pick six, except they lost. Their offense is just a joke. Christian McCaffrey bust out a couple good plays here and there. They did start to throw it to him last week, but I wonder if that's just because they were down. Anyways, San Fran just ate alive the Rams. And I think the Rams have a better O-line. I think they have a better, at least Matt Stafford to Cooper Kupp connection is better than the Baker to DJ Moore. So I am just all against Baker. And even though the 49ers offense has not been as good as I thought it would, it doesn't matter because you only need to score one touchdown and you cover the spread because Carolina's not scoring. Their defense might, but their offense isn't.
Phil, I'm officially adding San Fran to my picks. Sorry about that. I missed it. I didn't see it. My bad.
Ken's like, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's on the field. Got to bet against him.
I just ate popcorn. My fingers slipped. I don't know. Dude, just let it go.
I rarely am I ever just totally out on a team, except for Matt Ryan last year on Atlanta. Yeah, I hate him. Yeah. So far, if you're watching this, it's Thursday Night Football. He's sucking so far, if you're wondering. But
okay, real quick. Listen,
I don't. I think I saw the craziest thing was points scored, defensive points scored this year, or points allowed this year. San Francisco's number 1 in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I think it's something like the Carolina Panthers are 30 or 31 or 32, bottom 3 in points scored this year. Red zone efficiency, bottom 3. Red zone effectiveness, top 3 for San Francisco. I mean, it's straight down the list. They are a top 5 defense in every category, and Carolina is a top 3 bottom offense in just about every category. Christian McCaffrey is the only thing that has life on that. If you have him in fantasy, just understand he's probably going to get checked down to about 1 billion times this week. And also, another fun fact, I watched Baker Mayfield rip apart a reporter this week who was asking him, and was like, do you do any drills that don't allow you to get your passes batted down? And he's like, yeah, tell me which ones you want. Which one I don't know which ones you're talking about. If you got a drill, tell me. So Baker Mayfield's getting chippy. He's getting, his prima donna self. Probably going to be focused on his progressive commercials, which they probably dropped him. Should have dropped him by now. Yeah, I'm all out.
Progressive centered in Cleveland. Once he left, he was done.
Only thing I'm worried about, maybe a backdoor cover if Sam Darnold gets in there. But
he's on the IR still. You're good.
Oh, even better.
All right. Let's head over to Sunday Night Football. Got a lot going on here. Head to head, me and Ken once more going against each other. Ken has Baltimore. I'm sticking with the show's motto. I believe in Joe Burrow. Sorry, the light is making it so you can't read it. Bengals all the way. Ken, you can go first. Tell me why I'm going to lose.
14 seconds, Phil. No, that is probably not what you're thinking. Not what you're thinking with Phil. 14 seconds is, in fact, how long the Baltimore Ravens have been losing this year. They are 2-2. They've lost 2 games and have only been behind for 14 seconds. They are the most underperforming 2-2 team. They should be 4-0. They are dominating these games up until about through 3 quarters. I do not think that this is just a part of their team. I do not think that they're going to struggle putting away teams all year. I think that their offense, first off, guys, I don't know if you've noticed, it's not getting as much headlines because they're 2-2 and not 4-0. But Lamar Jackson is passing. Guess what? He's running too. But he is looking like every little bit of the weapon that any team wants at quarterback. I do not think that this Cincinnati Bengals defense can stop him. That's what it comes down to. I'm expecting fireworks. I'm expecting the Bengals. We talked about it. Great offense. I think they're going to score. I think that the Ravens are just going to score more. So that's why I'm taking the over, and I'm taking the Ravens.
All right, listen. First time JaMarr Chase played the Ravens, he had 200 yards and a touchdown. You go, okay, culture shock to a rookie. Second time he played the Ravens, he had 7 catches for 125 yards. The Ravens play gambling pass defense with, Marcus Peters, who is like Trayvon Diggs. He was Trayvon Diggs before Trayvon Diggs, except he didn't have as many interceptions. He was jumping routes, and then Marlon Humphrey's good, but he just can't keep up with JaMarr Chase. The Bengals have, the best wide receiver duo in the NFL between Chase and T. Higgins. Whoever Marcus Peters is guarding, Joe Burrow just has to throw them the ball because they're too good. Marcus Peters is gonna just get bit by their double moves. They're gonna break down the field, huge touchdowns. Bengals all the way. I got nothing else. Their defense has looked really good. Their running game's a joke, so put the ball in Joe Burrow's hands more. That's all. All right.
I'm really hoping for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns from Chase and loss.
That's right. That's right. Fantasy play of the week. Smash.
Go out and get him off your waiver wires. All right.
Trade a running back, and more importantly, trade DJ Moore for JaMarr Chase.
All right.
You can. If anybody's dumb enough to do it, do it.
Connor, you're up.
Listen, we got 2 picks here. We're going to motor through this last 2. All right, Pittsburgh versus Buffalo right now, under 46.5. Did I mention that there are rookie quarterbacks playing this week? Okay, there's a couple of them. Multiple. Actually, what is that, 3? Zappy? You got Pickett? Who else? Is there 2? Maybe there's only 2. Either way, 2 of them, I'm betting a game. I'm betting a game with both of them. And guess what? I'm betting against both of them pretty much. By the way, last year I started this strategy. It worked out pretty well. It is really, really good offense against really, really bad offense and really, really good defense. So Buffalo has a really, really good defense playing against a really, really bad offense in Pittsburgh that's starting Kenny Pickett, who, by the way, had no incompletions last week. Only 9 completions to his receivers and 3 completions to the defense. Not good. So I'm just going to go ahead and say right there, Buffalo is going to turn him over, and they're going to put up a serious amount of points. And I think that serious enough to where it's going to be 28, 30, something along those lines to like 7. I think this is going to be an ugly game for Kenny Pickett. I do not see him scoring. And by the way, Najee has a historically bad, like him and Mixon, ironically, are 2 of the worst like efficient runners this year. They're averaging like less than like 3 yards a carry. It's really bad. So that one's simple. And by the way, Tennessee -2. If you guys are wondering, yeah, pick that one because of Vrabel and against Wentz. That's it. That's a whole status. That's a whole thesis of those 2 picks. Against Wentz, -2 for Tennessee over Wentz. Come on.
It's like like anti Baker Mayfield, anti Carson Wentz here, huh?
That's right. Both of them. Very easy picks. Very easy.
Pro Detroit.
I gotta tell you, that's not. Yeah, pro Detroit. I love it actually. I love everything you're talking about.
Simple. Take something complex, make it simple.
All right.
I was telling Phil before this. I was like, going into this week, I was like, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. I'm picking Buffalo no matter what. No matter what. And then I saw -14. I go, Jesus, I can't do it. But I still really want to. So I like that under pick, Connor.
I got one more game. It's Houston versus Jacksonville. I currently don't know where I'm going with it. I have the under listed in the sheet, but I think I'm just going to go with Jacksonville -7. I'm switching that pick right now, on the fly, off the cuff. Jacksonville -7, and here's the thought. Doug Peterson has gotten them so ready for games. They come out strong, and they look really good. I think they're just going to come out, beat the brakes off of Houston, and then their defense has actually been surprisingly good. What is it? They were 4th in points allowed and 14th in yards allowed, and 3rd in turnovers forced. So
So you think this is a backdoor cover? That's what you think this is?
No, Jacksonville. I'm taking Jacksonville to win by like
I thought
2 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. What am I thinking? I thought I heard my Well,
No.
if you guys are wondering, Phil flip flopped here, so this pick doesn't count.
I flip flopped. I went from the under and thinking Jacksonville's gonna win to just betting them outright.
Whatever, doesn't count.
Anyways, Jacksonville.
Don't count if you lose.
That's all we have. I believe in Trevor Lawrence. Not enough to get a button. He'll have to earn that status later in his career.
Don't defame Joe Burrow.
The playoffs this year.
I'll come in with a Trevor Lawrence wig on.
Instead of going bald, you're just doing the exact opposite.
By the way, everyone, smash Detroit this week. You can go out and get elite wide receivers for has-been running backs, potentially downside running backs. Go get them. Still sucks. Ken and I are the smart ones. Those are the takeaways from this week.
I was gonna say, is there any like just general football acumen that you want? Teams you've been watching?
So
I'm
kind of.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Phil. Go for it.
No, I got nothing.
This.
I was just gonna continue asking a question.
Okay, based on head injuries, now Nyheim Hines has left the game not with concussion, but now they're saying gross motor instability. Now that's the diagnosis that I got so far. So I definitely think you're going to see so much more of that now from the Tua bit. By the way, the neurospecialist on the sidelines that let him back in against Buffalo got fired. I in a separate group chat said that he absolutely should. I didn't think it would happen. It's hard to prove that. So definitely step in the right direction. But you're going to see tons and tons of more conservative treatment and holding people out over the last year or two. It's gotten progressively more and more get them back in. But no, with the Tua thing, by the way, if anyone's wondering, despite seeing those muscle spasms from the neurologic hit that he had last Thursday, he got diagnosed with a concussion, which actually means there is no physical brain damage. CT came back completely negative. So that actually means he's certainly going to return to play. Doesn't have to go on the IR. He won't miss he might miss 3 games, but definitely won't miss like 5 or 8. It all depends on when those symptoms go away. He's just in the regular protocol again. But you're going to see a lot more people like this Nyheim Hines, where you get hurt, any sorts of deficits. I think you're out without question for the game.
So what was the phrase you started with? Gross motor skill, whatever?
Gross motor instability.
All right, so I heard they changed the rules where it was if you had a head injury and gross motor instability, you were not allowed to go back in the game. However, Tua was diagnosed with a back or leg injury against Buffalo and had gross motor instability, and that's why they flipped it.
Hence people getting fired. Yeah. Yes.
Which is, so from your perspective, though, I'm just curious, like, you're making the rules and you're like, oh, this guy broke his back. He can't move. His hands and stuff are all moving all funny. Like, oh, but his head's okay. He can go back in the game. How does that make sense?
So and I mentioned this in one of probably multiple chats here. I gotten the question a lot recently. You have a neck injury. You have any injury to the spine that causes like physical instability, motor instability, that number one needs to be evaluated in the hospital immediately. Second, that person should consider retirement. Think of more mild cases of Ryan Shazier. But that's still, on the same level of an injury. So yes, if you're starting to get, or if you have any of those signs, it's medically complete mess. I mean, at that point, you got to reconsider your career. So, you see the things that the guy who came out with the neurosurgeon that they made the Will Smith concussion movie out of, telling Tua that he should retire. I mean, that might be taking it a little far, but the truth is, every single time you come back from a concussion, it takes longer and longer. You definitely want time in between them. Tua's not that far away if that's what's happening. also think Javid Best. He went in concussion protocol and literally never got out of it.
And then the only thing I had to add is I think it was the end of last year where we started branding Patrick Mahomes as the dragon emoji. If Tom Brady gets to be the GOAT, we said Mahomes was the dragon because of all the crazy stuff he could do. Last week, I just loved watching it play. It didn't even look fair. Like it doesn't look like he's playing the same sport or position at quarterback as everyone else. So I'm just so happy that we get these Patrick Mahomes plays where he kind of has to be a superhero a little bit more since there's no Tyreek Hill, there's no over the top plays. So we get to see more of like, hey, I'm awesome. Here's a throw no one else can make. Yeah. So that's it. Get your dragon emojis out. Patrick Mahomes.
Connor, what's your perspective on the Patrick Mahomes Sunday night game last week?
I mean, that was him blowing out Brady, right? Well,
yeah. But fumbles forced the Buccaneers into a terrible spot.
I think that Mahomes is. I think it's him and everybody else, only because he is refusing to make mistakes. He's not making mistakes right now. And last year when he went through this lull where he was quote unquote trying to do too much, it was like the middle of the season. Him and Andy Reid, like everyone was questioning. I think they started out like 4-4 or something like that, and people were like, he's not good. By the way, I had him on my fantasy team, and he sucked for about 5 weeks straight. But he's winning games, and he's not making those mistakes because he felt like he could get away with that stuff last year. He felt like Tyreek was so much better. He felt like Kelsey is so much better. This year, he's like, hey, I don't have those guys that I can just go out and make me look better, make me look good, and make me look elite. This year, he's like more responsible because I think in the past, truthfully, I really think in the past, he was like, I can do amazing things even without the guys around me, but I'm going to take a ton of risk because I'm really good and amazing, and those guys are really amazing. This year, he's saying, I'm really amazing, but the guys around me aren't unbelievable. I only have Kelsey that can do that. So that means the only time I can take risks now is when I'm throwing to Kelsey. Truthfully. Name another wide receiver on that team that is even fantasy relevant or even relevant, period, in the top, 30 wide receivers in the league this year on any stat.
Well, it's so funny because it's not, they lost Tyreek Hill and they still have the air yards completions. Like they had a couple of big plays, but they don't have the touchdowns off those. Like it's like, all right, we're inside the 20 now. They don't have the cheat code of here's 7 points, we're down by 14, boom, we're down by a touchdown now. I think he also in his head knows I could take more risk last year if I screwed up. We have such incredible firepower that we can put ourselves back in any game. Yep.
Perfect example this year was they struggled with, of all people, the Colts, who, by the way, are sucking tonight, struggled with the Colts and basically said, hey, we can't just crush everybody and come back at any given time. That's why he got in a fight with Eric Bieniemy at halftime. He was saying, this is a close game. We're not going to be able to just out all-star other teams anymore. So give me a chance to go be almost as bad as it sucks for us here, Tom Brady-like or Aaron Rodgers-like. When I have a lead, just let me milk the clock. Let me do what I want. Let me do what I can. I'll be smart with it. I won't do anything stupid with it. But you got to get me a lead first. Here, this is like too close for comfort. I'm not just going to be able to throw it up to Tyreek and go get a 70-yard touchdown this time. Allow me to be more responsible and give me more of the offense. And they lost that game. So
it's a great argument for Patrick Mahomes. I said to go for it at the end of the half. What happened? Yeah, we lost the game. How's that make you feel?
Well,
all right.
So, no, just real quick, agree with a lot of what you said. I'm not taking this as a hit on the Tampa Bay team or defense in general. I think that was Mahomes just being special out there. That's all I had.
Well, yeah. So I was gonna say Patrick Mahomes on his best day, I still think wins the game. Like I don't care how good Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen looks; they can do fantastic things. But like Patrick Mahomes, he's running out of bounds and flips the ball, and it's a perfect pass to CEH.
The CEH again.
I was gonna say the Darrell Williams dropped touchdown will be the biggest letdown. The literally horizontal throw in the Super Bowl would have been a fantastic highlight forever, and of course it goes right in his hands and he drops it. But yeah, that's all good to end on. So thanks for listening, Connor. Do you wanna exit us out?
No, we'll let you take the endings. I take the best part, the openings.
All right. Like, subscribe, comment, come ask us your questions you heard. We are happy to talk about trade advice in fantasy. Who should you start? I think we're 2 for 2 on questions that have come in. We nailed them both. And, I nail my picks. So you guys get great advice from here. Ken and Connor, definitely entertaining, and we're glad to have them on.
Bill's losing all his games this week. Bye.